After one of the biggest wins of her career, Alex Eala didn't talk about the score. She didn't talk about tactics. She didn't talk about rankings. She talked about her family. My mother was a SEA Games swimming medalist. My father has always been my pillar. And just like that, everything changed. Because there are moments in sport that stop you cold. Not because of a trophy, not because of a record, but because for a brief second, the curtain is pulled back and you realize you're not watching an athlete anymore. You're watching a human being. Raw. Vulnerable. Carrying something so heavy, it almost doesn't make sense that they're still standing. This is one of those moments. And if you think you already understand Alex Eala, her intensity, her fire, the way she plays every single point like it's life or death, you don't. Not yet. But by the end of this story, everything about her will feel different. Deeper. Heavier. More real. We live in a world built for highlights. 30-second clips. Slow-motion replays. Perfectly timed celebrations frozen into thumbnails. Social media shows us the polished version of greatness. The clean white outfits. The flashing cameras. The trophies lifted under stadium lights. And Eala has given us all of that. She's delivered performances that have left fans speechless, that have made an entire nation erupt with pride, that have turned casual viewers into believers overnight. But behind those eyes, the ones locked in with laser focus, the ones that seem to shake even the most experienced opponents, there's something else. Something we don't see. There is a daughter. A deeply devoted, fiercely loving daughter, playing the most important match of her life. And it has nothing to do with ranking points. In a moment that sent shockwaves through the tennis world, Alex Eala opened up. Tears in her eyes. Voice unsteady. She spoke about her father, her foundation, her constant, her strength. And then came the truth. Her father is fighting cancer. A battle that no athlete, no family, no person is ever truly prepared for. And then something happened that no script could ever capture. In a quiet, deeply personal moment, he told her his greatest wish. Not comfort, not relief, not even his own recovery. Just this, to live long enough, to see his daughter reach the very top of tennis. Let that sink in. That's not a movie line. That's real. A father, a fight, a dream that now carries a different kind of urgency. That kind of love doesn't fit into a highlight reel. It doesn't fit into a caption. It changes everything. Because now, every match Alex Eala plays isn't just about winning. It's about time. Her reaction said it all. Gone was the calm, ice-cold competitor who thrives under pressure. In her place was a young woman, stripped of all armor, standing in front of the world as simply a daughter. A daughter who suddenly understands something most people don't face until much later in life. Time is not guaranteed. At 20 years old, when the future is supposed to feel endless, time suddenly felt fragile, finite, painfully real. And, in that moment, the entire tennis world felt it with her. From the Philippines to Europe, from fans to fellow players, messages poured in. Support, love, strength. Not as reactions to a match, but to a story. A human story. Because now, when you watch Alex Eala on the court, you're not just watching a rising star. You're watching someone playing for something far bigger than herself. Every rally means more. Every point carries weight. Every victory feels personal. And suddenly, that fire in her game, that intensity, that refusal to back down, it all makes sense. This isn't just about tennis anymore. This is about love. About time. About fighting for something that can't be measured in rankings or trophies. And that's why her story hits differently now. Because behind every swing, there's a reason. A powerful, heartbreaking, beautiful reason, and suddenly, that almost alarming intensity Alex Eala brings to every match, that refusal to give away even a single point, that burning, relentless presence she carries onto the court. It all makes sense. A heartbreaking kind of sense. Because she's not just chasing rankings anymore. She's racing against something far more personal. A clock, one that only she and her family can hear ticking. To truly understand the weight of this story, you have to go back. All the way back. Because the story of Alex Eala cannot be told without the story of her father. In professional tennis, talent is never enough. It never has been. Players don't rise alone. They rise because someone holds them up when the world gets heavy. And for Alex, that someone was her father. Her parents were never just spectators. They weren't sitting quietly in the stands, clapping politely. They were the foundation, the unseen structure beneath every achievement. Now think about this. You're a parent, and you watch your 13-year-old daughter hit a tennis ball, and something clicks. Not hope, not potential. Certainty. The kind that almost scares you. You realize you're looking at something your country has never produced before. What do you do with that? Do you protect it? Keep it close? Choose the safe, comfortable path? Her father didn't. He chose risk. He chose sacrifice. He chose something extraordinary. He made the decision to send his teenage daughter halfway across the world to the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, one of the toughest, most demanding training environments in tennis. Imagine that moment, looking at your child, and trusting that distance, pressure, and discipline will shape her into something great. That decision? It changed everything, because the sacrifices behind it weren't glamorous. They weren't visible. They don't show up in highlight reels. He wasn't just paying for training. He was fighting battles behind the scenes, navigating complicated systems, handling contracts, managing travel, building opportunities from nothing, protecting her from pressures she didn't even know existed. He created a shield, a space where she could focus on one thing, becoming better. And here's what makes it even more powerful. He didn't overstep. He didn't become the controlling figure so often seen in young athlete stories. He didn't interfere. He trusted the process. He let coaches coach. He let the academy build her game. His role? Simple. Irreplaceable. He was constant. Unshakable. Always there. He was there at junior tournaments. There for the late-night calls when home felt too far away. There when she made history. When she won at French Open Junior Championship in 2022, he cried. Not quiet tears, but the kind that come from years of sacrifice finally meaning something. Pure joy. And now, those same eyes are carrying something very different. That contrast, it's almost too heavy to hold. And yet, through all of this, look at what Alex Eala has been doing on the court. Because the tennis world needs to understand this clearly, she's not breaking under the weight. She's rising through it. At the US Open in New York, on one of the biggest stages in the sport, she walked out not just as a player, but as a representative of an entire nation. With the Sampaguita symbolically tied to her identity, she stepped into history. And when the match turned difficult, when the pressure built, when the scoreboard said she was in trouble, she didn't fold. She fought. She dug herself out of a deep deficit, point by point, game by game, with a level of mental strength that left even seasoned commentators stunned. And when it was over, she had done something no Filipina had ever done in the Open era, win a Grand Slam main draw match. That moment? It wasn't just a victory. It was a statement. Because now, when you watch Alex Eala compete, you're not just watching talent. You're watching purpose. Every shot carries emotion. Every rally carries meaning. Every match carries something deeper than sport. And that's why her intensity feels different. That's why it feels heavier. Because behind it, there's a story, a family, a fight. The Philippines erupted. Social media lit up. Manila went into a frenzy. And somewhere, watching quietly, her father was watching too. Alex Eala carried that momentum straight into 2026. But something had changed. If you watched closely, you could feel it. She wasn't just confident anymore. She was sharper, more dangerous, more focused than ever before. At Indian Wells, she arrived with a different energy. And she backed it up. Round after round, she carved through the draw until she faced Coco Gauff, a Grand Slam champion and one of the biggest names in the sport. What followed wasn't just a match. It was a statement. Eala dominated. 6-2, 2-0. She was in complete control, dictating rallies, breaking rhythm, overwhelming with precision and aggression. The crowd could feel it. Something big was happening. Then, unfortunately, the match ended early. An injury forced Goff to retire. It wasn't the ending anyone wanted, but the scoreboard told the truth. Alex Eala wasn't just competing with the elite anymore. She was beating them. Then came the Miami Open, the same tournament where she had stunned the world the year before. But this time, the expectations were massive. The pressure? Even bigger. And still, she delivered. First, a brutal battle against Laura Siegemund. 3 sets. Long rallies. Momentum swings. Eala showed everything: power, patience, tactical growth, and above all, fight. Then she followed it up with another win over Magdalena Freck to reach the round of 16. And during those post-match interviews, those light, smiling moments with the crowd, she kept repeating one word: brave. At the time, it sounded simple. Brave enough to take risks. Brave enough to face top players. But now, that word means something entirely different. Something deeper. Something painful and beautiful. She wasn't just being brave for the crowd. She was being brave for her father. Every forehand winner? A promise. Every service hold? A prayer. Every victory? A message. I'm still here. I'm still fighting. This is for you. But tennis is unforgiving. Fairy tales always meet reality eventually. In the round of 16, she faced Karolina Muchova, a world-class player at her peak. And on that day, Muchova was flawless. The result was brutal. 6-0, 6-2. Over in just an hour. The crowd that once roared went quiet. That kind of quiet that comes when people aren't just watching a loss, they're feeling it. The defeat meant ranking points lost. A drop in standings. Questions from critics. Doubts from the outside. But none of that matters. Not really. Because when Alex Eala walked off that court, she wasn't thinking about rankings. She wasn't thinking about statistics. Her mind went somewhere else. Somewhere far more important. And in that context, a tennis match is just a tennis match. A scoreline is just numbers. Because beyond the court, there's something real waiting. This is the part of sport we don't see. The part no highlight reel can capture. Athletes look superhuman under stadium lights. But they're not. They're sons, daughters, families. They carry jet lag, pressure, loneliness, and sometimes something much heavier. And right now, Alex Eala is carrying all of that and still stepping onto the biggest stages in the world. Still fighting. Still giving everything. With the sampaguita in her hair, a symbol of something deeper than sport. For the Philippines, this journey has become something more than pride. It's become personal. Because she wasn't built overnight. She was built slowly, through sacrifice, through belief, through a family that gave everything. And her father? He's part of every moment, every win, every milestone, every step forward. His fight has reminded the world of something important. Behind every athlete, there's a story bigger than the game. And the response? It's been overwhelming. Players, fans, coaches, from all over the world. Support, love, respect. Because inside the sport, they understand. They know what it takes. And right now, they're all rallying behind her. Looking ahead to the rest of 2026, everything feels different now. Madrid Open, Italian Open, and then French Open, the clay courts of Paris. A place already tied to her past success, now carrying even more meaning. Because from here on, every match is more than a match. Every win is a gift. Every step forward is a message. And every time Alex Eala steps onto the court, she carries something invisible, but incredibly powerful. Her father's dream. And here's what makes her different. Pressure doesn't break her. It fuels her. The bigger the moment, the stronger she becomes. We've seen it before. At the US Open, at Indian Wells, in Miami. She doesn't run from adversity. She transforms it. And if everything we've seen tells us anything, it's this. This story isn't slowing down. The 2026 season still has a long road ahead. And somewhere, watching, hoping, fighting, her father is there. His wish lighting the path forward. He gave her everything. And now, she's trying to give it back. One match at a time. One tournament at a time. One moment at a time. For her country. For the sport. But most of all, for him. And right now, the entire world is standing with Alex Eala. Every step of the way.